Who are you most grateful to for your career?
My career, everything. Allah. All my success, all my protection, all my feelings, all my victory, all my courage, everything comes from Allah.
There's great interest in the fact that you have joined the Muslim religion. How long have you had this interest, Cassius?
Oh, for the past 6 years, I would say, after hearing a lot of teachings on Negro history and who we were before we got here, and 1 and 1 makes 2.
You feel your affiliation with the Muslim religion, being a follower of the Muslim religion, had something to do with your winning the championship?
Well, I would say so. My religion is what the only thing that I can give me credit for pulling me through, because 99 out of 100 seemed to see no possibility of me winning. The newspaper reporters and everybody all over the world condemned me. They said it would be a mismatch, and couldn't nobody believe it. So my prayers to Allah and faith in my religion, living a clean, righteous life, I have to say that's what pulled me through.
Malcolm X, I want to talk with you briefly about your affiliation with Cassius. How long have you known him?
About 3 years.
And have you been advising him as far as his religious affiliations are concerned?
Well, no, I don't give advice to anyone. He's my brother and my friend. I express what I know and understand around him, but he has a mind of his own and understanding of his own.
You know, I was talking to Stallone earlier this week, and between commercials, we had a discussion. He actually watched Chuck Wepner and yourself fighting and decided to create the whole Rocky story. He had this underdog white boxer trying to overcome. He had this flamboyant champion who talked a lot, who was a big showman, and he actually went from there and created the whole Rocky thing. Yeah.
They own me.
Yeah, there might be a residual there somewhere, man.
Give me a lawyer.
Yeah. But you never knew that? I think you were his inspiration. You've been the inspiration of a lot of people. I brought some other people, some other interviewers who are going to help me out because you're an inspiration to them, too. Fellas, come here for a minute.
This is so fun.
Yeah. Now, what's wrong? Wait.
I was a dancing master.
Yeah, you were dancing. You moved.
I wasn't that powerful. I was so fast.
Uh-huh.
If he hit me, best if you catch me.
Heroes come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and religions. This man might be the most famous person in the world. He's one of the greatest heroes of our time, and he is a Muslim. It was hate, not religion, that motivated the horrible acts of September 11th. And in the wake of these events, nothing could be more un-American than to respond to mindless hatred with blind vengeance. My friend and I want you to remember that, and that we are strongest when we stand together. Champ?
I'm here because of a terrible thing that happened the other day. I'm a Muslim. I've been a Muslim for 20 years. And I'm against killing, violence, and all Muslims are against it. I think that people should know the real truth about Islam. You know me, I'm a boxer, I'm called the greatest of all time. People recognize me for being a boxer and a man of truth. And I wouldn't be here representing Islam if it was really like the terrorists made it look. I think that all the people should know the truth and come to recognize the truth, because Islam is peace against killing, murder, and the terrorists and the people doing that in the name of Islam are wrong. And if I had a chance, I'd do something about it.
I think Donald Trump expected the media attack he got. I don't think he expected with those Muslim comments and to ban any additional Muslims from coming into this country. Well, an attack from the greatest. Muhammad Ali releasing a statement shortly thereafter saying presidential candidates proposing to ban Muslim immigration to the United States, saying we as Muslims have to stand up to those who use Islam to advance their own personal agenda. Was that Muhammad Ali's way of saying, Donald Trump, you're going down? Rashida Ali, the daughter of Muhammad Ali, joins us right now. Rashida, so good to have you.
Good to have you too. Thank you so much, Neil, for having me.
I always do love having you on. Under this circumstance, so it's a little weird. Your father was saying essentially that not all Muslims are ruthless, saying they're not all Islamic jihadists that go against the very tenets of society, but more to the point he was saying of his religion. But a lot of Americans, as you know, and what Donald Trump is saying, we'd have a funny way of seeing it these days. You say what, he says what.
Well, I think, first of all, we're so proud of our dad who came out with this statement. It was very, very poignant, and it was very important, and it was very needed, especially now. My dad has always, as an ambassador of peace, he has always given of himself. He's had strong conviction. He has always been a man who has spoken out against people. But more importantly, he's always been generous and kind to people and loved everyone. And I think that's why my dad is the most revered and loved and respected Muslim on the planet. And that's why we love his statement so much.
Well, I think what Donald Trump might be saying, Rashid, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but your dad, who no one questions, is certainly his stature, that he might be more the exception among Muslims. And that's what's giving people pause, that they're worried, they're nervous. After these attacks, they don't hear more of these moderate or friendlier Muslims speaking out to the degree your dad did.
Well, here's the thing. I think my dad coming out with this statement, I feel that we need to really create a bigger dialogue, and I think my dad has done that in creating. He's a man of respect and honor, and Muslims look up to him. People all over the world look up to him. So I think when he came out with this statement, I think he's really kind of opened the door in creating dialogue for other Muslims to follow suit.
But they're not.
Really
now, some are, and some are, Rashida, but not many are, and that's what gives some people some agita. They get nervous, like, geez, what's going on?
Right. Well, here the truth is, I'm on Twitter all the time, and I'm saying that Muslims are coming forward, and they are saying things. This is not us. This is not us. Really, the dialogue is important because we have to understand that if people understand what Islam is, what does it mean? Islam is a peaceful religion. Muslims know that. People don't really know that, but if they really study and they understand the religion, they'll know it is a peaceful religion. And when terrorists come out and they kill people in the name of Islam, that is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. When you take a path that is not peaceful, you are not going with the constraints of Islam. And that is really educating people, and that's what my dad's trying to do. He's trying to educate people and dispel some of the misconceptions about what most people think Muslims are. There are a lot of honorable Muslims. Queen Reina of Jordan, Cat Stevens. There's so many honorable Muslims who are actually practicing Islam. But there's a group of terrorists who say they're Muslim, and they're not. And that's really what the whole idea, and I feel, is the point of that statement.
All right, but listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying, I'm just trying to be fair here, that did your dad hear these comments? I know he has advanced Parkinson's, it's very hard for him to speak. and he got riled up, and then he talked to you or others in the family, say, I want to put out a statement. Tell me what happened after that.
No, he didn't talk to me. He put out a statement, and all the kids saw the statement, and we were so elated. I think what's happening in this country is really, we're going down a dark path. In my opinion, I feel that if you have a public platform, or if you have a certain position of power, you have a certain responsibility. People look up to you. People listen to you. And I think what happens is, it's irresponsible to say things that you don't really know what you're talking about. And this is just in general. When you have a public platform, you really, dangerous rhetoric is not productive at all. And what it does is it promotes hate, anger, and fear. And that leads us down a dark path, and that's really the path we shouldn't be going down right now in this country.
So you are not for Donald Trump for president?
I'm not really talking about any one particular person. I just feel that Muslims in general are being really, they're not really being portrayed.
Well, who do you like? I'm just curious. Who do you like for president, or your dad likes?
Really,
who?
Most people who have a public platform, and I'm not naming any particular person, but anyone that has a major platform, they shouldn't be irresponsible and talk about all Muslims as a blanket statement when you're talking about people who are harming others, which is completely against our religious beliefs, 100%.
Rashida, I think your IP goes down when we're talking, so I apologize. But do you have a candidate you like? Does your father have a candidate he does like or finds inspiring or promising?
Right now, my dad does not have a position on a presidential candidate.
Do you?
Not at all. He doesn't have a position right now.
Do you?
And I do not have one right now.
Okay. All right, Rashida, I apologize.
Right now, I think the conversation we should be having, Neil, is we need to promote peace.
Okay.
And going against Muslims who are really following the rules, it's not really the dark path we should be going down. We should actually come together as a community to try to combat terrorism without pointing fingers to groups that really shouldn't be blamed for a group of terrorists who are really trying to harm others, calling themselves Muslims. That's the real case here.
All right. Rashida Ali, thank you very, very much. Always good talking to you.
When we finally arrived, the chauffeur escorted my sister, Layla, and me up to my father's suite. As usual, he was hiding behind the door, waiting to scare us. We exchanged many hugs and kisses as we could possibly give in one day. My father took a good look at us, then he sat me down on his lap and said something that I will never forget. He looked at me straight in my eyes and said, "Hannah, everything that God made valuable in this world is covered and hard to get to. Where do you find diamonds? Deep down in the ground, covered and protected. Where do you find pearls? Deep down at the bottom of the ocean, covered up and protected in a beautiful shell. Where do you find gold? Way down in the mine, covered with layers and layers of rock. You've got to work hard to get them." He then looked at me with serious eyes. "Your body is sacred. You are far more precious than diamonds and pearls, and you should be covered too."
What's wrong with miniskirts? What's wrong with hot pants? I mean...
Well, see, this is a European design thing, and for righteous people, you go to Saudi Arabia, tell a woman to put on miniskirt. Go to Zaire, Africa, have the women put on short dresses. They'd be fined or locked up. Go to Pakistan, go to all throughout black Islamic Muslim countries. Number one, I have a wife and she's walking around with a skirt up to here. And then what's happening? Well, why do I want everybody to see her? What's the man? I mean, people looking and winking, they lusting for her, all kind of freaks and no good people on the street. Why do I want my wife? She came down over because the panties show if the wind blow. It shows the behind. Cows and animals and mules. Human beings don't walk out. Savages walking around with their behinds out. And my wife's behind ain't for every man to look at. You understand? So it makes a lot of sense. So how can I protect my woman if I'm walking down the street, she's half naked, and some sadist run up and grab her? Hell, I shouldn't have put out there. If I got merchandise I want to sell, I put it in the window for you to see. So if I want my wife, why don't I want everybody to see my wife? What's private? What's mine? Everybody looking at her. Which means what's wrong with it? How can you have a wife or somebody you love? Anything God made precious, nature hides it. You cannot find diamonds easy. You have to dig and dig and dig. Then you got to work to clean them. You cannot, you cannot find, listen, you cannot find gold. Everything God made valuable, he made it hard to get. Pearls, rubies, and ain't my oil. You have to dig, and half the time it don't strike. Everything God created that was valuable, he made it hard to get to. Ain't my woman more important than some diamonds and some oil and some gold when she's the field which produced my sons and daughters? Why should she walk around all nude in all of these design clothes? Her breast is out. She's on the beach wearing clothes that show more than her panties when she go to bed. That's right. People don't just might as well come out with a brassiere on and her panties. She'd be more covered up than she do in the European style with just something covering up her nipple and just a little old G-string over, and she's walking out on the beach naked. These are savages. How am I have my daughter, my wife, or my woman walking around for her man? Ooh, look, I got dude. Boy, if I could get to her. And what I want that for? She's mine. What you mean, what's wrong with walking around half naked?
I told you. I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. So that's what happened.
That's what you said to me. But tell me now, are you really going to retire, Muhammad?
I'm seriously thinking about retiring. There's nothing else for me to fight. I told her, well, I'm going to retire. I'm going to hold the title for a few months. They took my title unjustly. I told you, I'm the real champion. I told you, I'm the champion of the world. All of you bow. All of my critics call. All of you suckers who write the Rain magazine, Boxing Illustrated, all of you suckers bow because the stage was set. You made him great. You made him a bad Joe Louis. You made him a hard puncher. But I want everybody from this moment on to recognize me as the scholar of boxing. If you want to know any damn thing about boxing, don't go to no boxing expert in Las Vegas. Don't go to no Jimmy the Greek. Come to Muhammad Ali. I am the man.
One last question, Muhammad.
Hello,
Do you have a bodyguard? Do you have... You don't?
I got one bodyguard. He has no eyes, though he sees. He has no ears, though he hears. He remembers everything with the aid of mind and memory. When he wishes to create a thing, he just orders it to be and it comes into existence. For this order is not conveyed in words which takes a tongue to formulate or which sound carries ears. He hears the secrets of those unquiet thoughts. He stops those who's that? That's God. He's my bodyguard. He's your bodyguard.
I'd like to know what you're going to do when you retire from boxing.
I think he's probably taking the last count at the moment. I'll do my best to wake him up
Just
for
sleep.
you.
That's all I'm going to do.
That's all he wants to do when he retires.
Now, when I retire from boxing, I really don't know. I want to say something right here. This might make you all think. Life is not really long. Let's say the average person, 30 years old. If you're 30 years old, you are not but about 7 years old. How can I prove it? Add up all the 7, 8, 9 hours you slept for 30 years. Out of 30 years, add up all the nights, last night when you went to bed and woke up this morning, you don't remember a thing. You've been unconscious for about 8 years. If you're 30 years old, you slept about 8 years. Okay. How much traveling have you done in 30 years? From the television station to home, to another country, to another city, to school, to church. You've probably traveled 2 years your life was spent just getting back and forth to where you're going. So there's 8 years of sleeping, 2 years of traveling. There's 30 years out of your life before you accomplish anything. How long do you sit in school? In America, we stay in school from the 12th grade from the 1st grade to 12th grade. Same here?
Yeah, virtually.
6 hours a day?
Yeah.
6 hours a day for 12 years, break it down, you sat in the classroom for 3 years without leaving. Okay, 2 years of traveling, 8 years of sleeping, 3 years of school. How many movies have you went to? How many wrestling matches? How much entertainment? How many movie theaters, live plays, baseball games? Probably 2 years of entertainment. So by the time a man, you older people know him, bear witness what I'm saying, by the time you have children, by the time you have made a way for your children, by the time you've paid for your home, you're pushing 60 years old. So life is real short. So you add up all your traveling, add up all your sleeping, add up all your school, add up all your entertainment, you've probably been
half your life doing nothing. So what am I'm 35 years old. 30 more years, I'll be 65. We don't have no more influence. We can't do nothing much at 65. Your wife will tell you that. So what I'm saying, when you're 65, ain't too much more to do. So did you know I'll be 65 in 30 more years? In those 30 years, I have to sleep 9 years. I don't have 30 years of daylight. I have to travel back to America, take 6, 7 miles. All my traveling, probably 4 years of traveling in the next 30 years, about 9 years of sleeping, television, movies, entertainment, about 3 years of entertainment. Out of 30 years, I might have about 16 years to be productive. So it's how we can all break individual lives down. What am I going to do in the next 16 years? What's the best thing I can do? Get ready to meet God. Owning real estate, going in business, teaching boxers, that won't get me to heaven. How many here believe there's a supreme being, believe there's a God? How many believe there's some power that made the sun, the moon, the stars? How many believe that this stuff didn't just come out here? Somebody wiser than us made it. How many believe there's a God? How many believe there's not a God? All right. Believe there's not a God. All right. If I told you, you who don't believe in God, if I told you that this glass sprang into existence, this glass made itself, no man made this glass, would you believe it? Would you believe I just told you this thing made itself? No. When I tell you, you wouldn't believe it, right?
No, somebody's doubting it, yeah, so I'm giving you the answer. That's what
she wouldn't believe it. If I told her this television station popped into existence, it just, no man made it, you say Muhammad Ali's crazy. All right. Well, if this glass can't make itself, if I told you those clothes you have on wove themselves, nobody created them, those clothes made themselves, you wouldn't believe it. But if your clothes didn't make itself, if that glass couldn't make itself, if this building didn't make itself, then how did the moon get out there? How did the stars and Jupiter, Neptune and Mars and the sun, how did nature, how did all this come here if didn't know why is something planning to make it? So what I'm saying is, I believe we're going to be judged. Should a man like Hitler kill all the Jews and get away with it? Somebody should punish him. Maybe he get it, don't get it now, he get it when he died, in hell for eternity. So what I'm going to do when I get out of boxing is to get myself ready to meet God, because my plane might blow up. Don't planes blow up in this country sometime and crash? Don't people die every day?
Not every day.
It's a scary thing to think that I'm going to hell to burn eternally forever. So what am I going to do? I'm taking I'm explaining what you asked me a question. You ask me questions I can't just answer like that. When I get out of boxing or when I'm through, I'm going to do all I can to help people. That's why I'm here with Johnny Walker. Here's a poor man, came all the way to America. Here's a bunch of boys need some money, and somebody is calling me to help them. God is watching me. God don't praise me because I beat Joe Frazier. God don't give nothing about Joe Frazier. God don't care nothing about England or America as far as your wealth is all his. He wants to know, how do we treat each other? How do we help each other? So I'm going to dedicate my life to using my name and popularity, helping charities, helping people, uniting people, bring people bumming each other because of religious beliefs. We need somebody in the world to help make peace. So when I die, if there's a heaven, I want to see it. Because we live how long? 80 years? The odds are everybody in this room, some of you are going to be dead 20 years from now, some of you are going to be dead 50 years from now, some are going to be dead 30, and some are going to be dead 60, 70 years from now. We all going to die soon. And if you live to be, say, 125 years old, which we don't do, right? Let's say we live to be 250, and you can have sex for 145 of those years. You're going to come to the end after that. So we don't have but about 80 years on earth. This is a test to see where will we spend our life in heaven and hell. This is not the life now. Your real self is inside you. Your body gets old. Some of you go to look at the fridge, you don't have no teeth. Your hair is leaving you. Your bodies get tired. But your soul and your spirit never die. That's going to live forever. So your body is just housing your soul and spirit. So God is testing us on how we treat each other, how we live, to see where our real home be in heaven. So this physical stuff don't last for so long. So my car, this building is going to be here when the man who built it dead. There have been many kings and queens of England. They're all dead. After this one is gone, another one will come. So we don't stay here. We're just trustees. We don't own nothing. Even your children are not yours. If you think I'm lying, your wife is not yours. You die and come back a year later and go slip in your bedroom and see if your wife is by herself. See, you don't own your wife. You don't own I divorced my wife. You may have read about it. And my 4 children, they call another man daddy now. They don't see me no more. You don't own your children. You don't own your family. So what am I saying? The most important thing about life is what's going to happen when you die. Are you going to go to heaven or hell? And that's eternity. How long is eternity? Let's imagine. Take the Sahara Desert. There's a lot of sand on the Sahara Desert, right? Then imagine that 1 grain of sand represents 1,000 years, and when you in hell burning, when you die and go to hell, you're going to burn forever and ever, no end. How long is that? Give you an idea how long eternity is. Take the Sahara Desert, and I told you to wait 1,000 years. And every 1,000 years, I want you to pick up a grain of sand until the desert is empty. Okay, wait 1,000 years, pick up the first grain. Wait another 1,000 years before you get the next grain. Keep that up until there's no more sand in the desert. Whew. You know how long America's not but 200 years old. We got 800 more years to go before 1,000. So it just scares me to think that I'm going to die one day and go to hell. I'm on an airplane that might blow up. I'm always traveling. And to go to hell and God is going to judge my soul. The police, I might kill people. I might rob people. The authorities might not catch me. The FBI, Scotland Yard might not catch me. But when I die, somebody's watching me and keeping count. And I can't get away. And I'm going to burn forever and ever and ever. I'll go to heaven. So what am I going to do when I'm through fighting? I only have 16 years to be productive. Get myself ready to meet God and go to the best place. Don't that make sense?
Thank you.
What is up, guys? Peace and blessings, everybody. I'm gonna jump straight into it. Allah gave this Muhammad Ali, who was born January 17th, 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky, and he passed away this Friday, June 3rd, 2016, at a hospital in Arizona, in Phoenix, right before Ramadan 1437. He was the best boxer of his generation. He protested the Vietnam War when it was unpopular and refused to participate in it, and as a result he was stripped of his title for 3 years because he refused to kill innocent men, women, and children. And he eventually won his case in court and was able to box. But in those 3 years he was stripped of his title and not allowed to box. He was in his primes. Look what he gave up, and look what we can give up easy this Ramadan too. Food and water. After his 3-year suspension, he showed who was a true champion, and he came back and won his championship. He also won the gold medal, but those weren't the most important thing to him. It was Allah. He was asked, "What do you attribute to all your success?" And he said, Allah. He was born in a hospital as Cassius Clay. He died in a hospital as Muhammad Ali. He changed throughout his life. Reflect upon that. Let's take that into this Ramadan. We should change for the better just like he did. In those 74 years, he did a lot in his life. If this man can change from a Christian to the nation of Islam to an actual Muslim, a real Muslim, how hard is it for us to change and become better people? Become better Muslims. Now, I want you guys to think about what Muhammad Ali said. He said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." Remember, we're going to be tested too here. And never give up hope in the mercy of Allah. Never give up, as it says in chapter 39, verse 53. Never lose hope in the mercy of Allah. He said, "Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee." That was one of Muhammad Ali's saying. But here's another quote. He said, "The man who views the world at 50 the same as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of his life." Think about what he just said and apply this to this Ramadan. If we don't grow and change for the better, we wasted an entire month. And every single Ramadan, those months add up. tears. See, we're lucky enough to have another Ramadan. This brother Muhammad Ali wasn't given another Ramadan because it was his time. Allah knows best when we're going to die. To him we belong, to him we go back. Muhammad Ali said, I want you to think about this one carefully. It isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear you out. It's the pebble in your shoes. Think about what he said there. Let's apply to Ramadan. Don't go into excesses. 1/3 of your stomach should be food, 1/3 water, 1/3 air. Let's apply that to the Quran, chapter 7, verse 31. O children of Adam, take your adornment at every masjid and eat and drink, but not excessively. Indeed, he likes not those who commit excess. Also remember, before going to Tarawih and doing all these extra sunnah and stuff, do your fives first, so the sunnah and everything else can look like pebbles and it can be an easy accomplishment. And may God forgive us of all of our sins. Remember, every child is born a Muslim, no matter what household they're born into. They are born sinless. And Muhammad Ali went from a Christian to the nation of Islam, and he left both those groups, and he became a real Muslim. He embraced Islam and came to real Islam. Now, even with his health condition, he traveled all around the world promoting peace and Islam. May Allah give him one of the highest ranks in paradise, and inshallah too, we can change this Ramadan, become better Muslims, and we go to paradise too.